McLaren, and thank you for tuning into CLF Research. Today we're going to do kind of a retrospective on this build of what we call Project Fake Broadcaster. And if you've been following us at CLF Research on Instagram or Facebook, you probably saw this thing as it's coming together, but I thought, hey, it'd be cool, let's do a little video about this. And we began by opening it up with Johnny Gomez playing this. So the first thing you heard was this very guitar, and it is just a delightful sounding guitar. We're gonna get into the bits and the bobs of this instrument and how I managed to build this thing out of old parts. So it began with this neck. I found this neck upstairs in one of the lofts that are, you might have heard me talk about lofts where we have old parts and so forth, dusty things. We still have some of those. And I found this old broadcaster neck, and the nut hadn't been cut, so it had never been installed. Check out this picture, and you can see here this neck, and you're seeing it's sitting next to a body. And I thought, oh, rad, I've got a neck, and I just found a broadcaster body. And I thought, oh, I'm gonna see if I can find out some other parts. I already had an idea where I could get some stuff, but the key thing is, hey, I got a neck, and now I've got a broadcaster body. And the broadcaster even has this little kind of a label inside the neck pocket of the body. It says it's inspected by Leo Fender. How exactly he inspected it before it was put together, I don't know, but it was a cool thing to have this Leo Fender signature in there. So there was that body, and I posted about that, and then I was reminded of a very important fact. That body belonged to a customer, and in fact, Memo here, who handles repairs, he had asked if he could store the body here in Leo's lab, and while we're preparing another neck for it. So it was in for a repair job, and somehow I spaced out and thought I just discovered a broadcaster body. So I posted, here's a neck, here's a body, let's make Project Fake Broadcaster. Well, at that point I realized I don't have a body because the body belongs to the customer. So I went digging around, and let's bring up another picture here, and you see a black ASAT or broadcaster body, and it's all scratched up. It's beat to hell, but I could tell it was kind of prototypey. It had this jack, and it was actually recessed. And it's like, okay, this was a little bit unusual. And then as I noticed it was maple, and I realized, oh, what we have here is one of the prototype phase broadcaster bodies. So I thought, hey, that's cool. We're gonna make a fake broadcaster. How legit is that? We've got a body that, admittedly, it looks awful in the pictures there, but I thought we would buff it up. It turned out pretty well, and this is, I was really surprised what the polish guys were able to do to this thing. So at that point, I had a body, or I had a neck, and I had another body because I kind of had to like patch this hole because I'd announced a Project Fake Broadcaster, and I had a customer's body, and I couldn't use that. So I found a substitute. So it kind of worked out. Digging around, I found this prototype G&L broadcaster body, this neck which hadn't been installed, maybe it was from the same time period, and what we have here, this control plate was already completed, and we'll bring in one of the pictures where you can see closely what it says on here. It says sample July 17th, 85. Right, that's Leo Fender's own handwriting. So this was Leo Fender's officially approved sample circuit here for a broadcaster guitar, which he kept in bags in these little bins. Like, for example, here's one. This looks like it's for an early style S500, and this is for probably a 1984 L2000. It's got the black crinkle, but you get the idea. It's got these little plastic bags. So I pulled this out of a plastic bag and I thought, well, Project Fake Broadcaster, if it had Leo Fender's own officially approved sample circuit, that would be rad. Now, pickups I already knew we had because I've shown you Leo Fender's lab bench where he has all these pickups on these little wooden kind of test platforms, if you will. And we had the original ones that he used for testing for broadcast, for the broadcaster, and these are the little test boards. And this one says on it, broadcaster pickup, and it has some specs and so forth. The leads weren't in the greatest shape, so we had to actually do a little bit of surgery. So we're going to bring in a couple of the pictures where we had to actually do some repair and an extension of some leads. And once we had that, we were good to go. We could verify the pickups worked, and indeed they did. There was nothing terrible. We didn't have to unwind anything, so it's got all of the wines present. It was just a little bit of work on the leads, as you can see in the pictures. Again, if I'm going to make Project Fake Broadcaster, I could use Leo Fender's own pickups. These were his own babies that he approved for it. So that's really cool. Now, this Pickguard, I thought, well, these broadcasters originally had a plastic pickguard, but the following year when the broadcaster became the ASAT guitar, they introduced for that model, they brought out the black crinkle powder-coated aluminum. And so I went looking around in dusty places, like same place I found this dusty relic, and this one is for what was called an ASAT 3. And this has 3 S500 MFD pickups. So you can see it's kind of a variant, but the key being is here's this dusty old crinkle finish pickguard. And in the same place I found this one. So I thought this is kind of cooler anyway, and I'm not trying to be accurate exactly. It's Project Fake Broadcaster. I'm going to do whatever I want to do on it. And this, just thought, hey, this black crinkle with all this black crinkle is super cool. As for tuners, I wanted to get some black Schaller ones here. And this wasn't too hard to find. I just went digging around in some dusty bins. I'm gonna bring up a picture here. You can just see how cruddy these things were, just full. At one point they lived in the polish department and there was just gunk all over them. But they just cleaned up very nicely. I think we have a picture of them nicely cleaned up. So, hey, now I've got the right tuners. And I thought about, hey, a bridge. Now, the bridge, this was an easy one because we've been doing the crinkle on some, the crinkle saddle lock bridge on some things like the Superhawk guitar and stuff. So this would be easy to do. But I had one that has been in my desk drawer since maybe 1994. And anybody that's been with a company for a very long time, maybe has had a desk for a very long time, I mean, you can have things in there that are just decades old because you never did anything with them, whatever. I thought maybe someday I'll use this bridge. So back in the middle of the 1990s, I have this bridge, and especially the saddles. These look like they were blacked out or something. And actually what happened to them is I must have been on the phone. I used to talk to dealers all the time in the middle of the 1990s. And I had a black Sharpie, and I was coloring in all of these saddles. It was my objective to black out the saddles with the Sharpie and the springs for no reason at all. Just as you're talking on the phone, you might be killing some time doodling. Well, I was doodling on these saddles, and then this bridge just sat in my desk drawer, and I thought, well, this is my own memories here from the mid-1990s. I'm going to put this into this guitar. I did that doodling, whatever, 25 years ago. Here we're going to show you us installing this bridge. So we have to do a little bit of Dremel work because on the bottom side of these bridges is this foot. And this foot fits inside against the end grain of the wood. So we're doing a little bit of Dremeling out so we can fit that in there. So boom, there's my bridge. I just used a regular neck plate. I'm not trying to make a complete pretend broadcaster as though this is going to be some continuation effort. And in fact, this guitar, in some sense, I'm not sure that I'm going to keep it as a guitar, because this sample control plate really deserves to go back into its bag and back into Leo's bin. These two ASAP pickups, they should go back on Leo Fender's test board and back onto his bench. So I considered it a parts caster because I'm kind of joking, but also, while it's a really cool guitar presently, at some point I think it has to come back apart and some of these things return to their proper place in Leo Fender's laboratory where we are here. Okay, so that was a wrap-up of Project Fake Broadcaster. I hope you all enjoyed it. Most of all, I think you might have enjoyed hearing Johnny Gomez play this thing. And if the sweet, sweet sound of this guitar, I think Leo would be delighted if he knew that we were paying this much attention and had this much regard for it. But it's dear to my heart. I think everybody who watches this channel knows that these kind of things are dear to my heart. And I like very much sharing with you these things. And I appreciate the great feedback. It really means a lot to me. It motivates me to make more of these things, because it's not my normal state to want to video stuff. But I do get really excited about this stuff, and I like sharing it. And thank you for the positive feedback. It really does, as I said, motivate me. Thanks again, and I'll see you soon.